Good evening and welcome to Ogroid Myrmidon, the face edition, which is my Instagram live number 43. Here we are, we're going to work on his face, which really is the final part of this basic project. Anything that I've not painted on this, by the way, is already been painted somewhere else on the model. For example, his wrist guard that I've not painted, well, it's just the same method that I use for his webbing. His hooves, believe it or not, are also the same method I use for his webbing. Yeah. Now the lines I use on his webbing, they just go down his hooves, and I just use more of the grey colour, excuse me, instead of more of the brown colour, and I shade it more with black. So it's exactly the same, just do more layers of the black shading. Yeah. Now, could I show you that? Yeah, but how about you guys figure it out, right? Have a go and experience it, because a big part of what I try and teach is how you guys teach yourselves. So if you have me mollycoddling you through everything, you know, you're never going to learn to tie your own shoelaces, and that's really valuable to me, that you guys learn how to, this poor business model time, proof that I'm here as a human as opposed to a businessman. I try and teach you to need me as little as possible, weirdly as soon as possible. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, for those that have never seen these videos before as well, you guys in YouTube land up here, yeah, you're seeing this at a later point. There's a video camera or maybe a mobile phone device over that side that is also streaming this live. Now it's not a live close-up, you get to see me sat there and I get to chat with you, and you guys get to ask me questions and interact with me while I do this. So if there's something to learn or you're unclear with something, you know, you can ask me a question live as I do the video, and we can all learn together. That's the intent. And if you wish to watch both videos at the same time, well, if you've got a PC, you can watch the YouTube video one when that goes up in a few days or whatever, and on your other device, your phone, you can watch the live stream on Instagram TV. Yeah, so you get to watch both at the same time. Just turn the volume down on one, you know. So hopefully I'm giving you a bit of a multimedia experience as well. I actually think this is going to be the last video on this guy to this fun standard. So again, for those that are new to this live stream, I'm not trying to do anything fantastic with this model. I'm bashing it out on a casual basis. I'm not trying to make flawless blends. I'm not trying to impress painting judges or painting snobs or anything like that. I'm just trying to be me and let the paint job flow out of me, and do what I feel like doing. Sometimes I might put extra effort into some bits, sometimes I might just do a quick slapdash whatever on some bits, and that's what comes out. And then at the end of it, I want to show you, by having that relaxed attitude, not only do you have more fun, you can also produce some really nice work, you know. And I think this guy, he's looking pretty ace, you know. So what we're about to do today, we're going to work on his face as much as we can. I might put his scars in, and I decided on a colour for his scars. I decided to go for these red colour for his scars, because they'll create a nice little, what some people call a spot colour. I call it a frame. Yeah, frame for his face. So that prevents this from becoming the focal point, because it's the only kind of big, hot, saturated colour on the model. Yeah, so the moment I put 3 of them there, it becomes, it stops becoming the focal point and starts becoming a frame for a particular feature. And hopefully in this case, depending on how I paint it, the face. So yeah, a little bit of snobby theory there, after everything I just said about it being casual, but that's how I like to think about things, because this is about me having fun and me being casual, and showing you guys that it's possible, you know, and that even if someone has won a demon, or even if somebody can paint however perfect or however inspired or whoever they are, you can always just rein it back in and relax. So yeah, there you go. And I am not quite my bubbly self today. I've noticed that much. I can feel it in my vibe. I've not even started painting yet, and I'm doing a lot of talking. But ho hum, there you go. Right, let's crack on. Right, colours needed. Racar flesh, or colours used. You don't need them. Substitute any of them for whatever's closest. Pallid witch flesh, XV88, which is what the model was originally base coated in from the spray undercoat. Dry bark, Abaddon black. And if we get past the face stage, I'll probably do the eyes. For some mad reason, I feel like doing the eyes like a pale glowy blue maybe. I didn't see that coming. I just decided at the last second before I set the camera up. And then we've got his tongue colour there. I'm going to do a mix of those. I'd like something a little bit more pinky like corn red, but couldn't find it, so there you go. So I'll use that instead, no big deal. And what else? Yeah, that might be it. Oh, he's got his horns and teeth. So teeth, maybe mix with a bit of that. Horns, that, maybe mix with a bit of that. There you go. There we have it. Okay. Rich Feely says, even with a relaxed paint job, you still use your painting principles. Well spotted, Rich Feely. Have you been on one of my courses, by the way? Because that's exactly right. That is exactly right. Okay. Broken Toad brush, size 1, miniature series, Mark II, Kolinsky Sable. Well impressed with the Broken Toad Mark II brushes when I got them. Yeah, they're wonderful, but you can't get them anymore, unfortunately. He's now onto Mark IIIs, and I've got a set of Mark IIIs which Mr. Toad generously gave me to try out, but I've still not tried them out. Why? Because I've still not worn out my current sets of brushes. So there'll be a test, maybe a demo for you guys coming soon on Broken Toad's awesome brushes. So yeah, there you go. What was going on here? Right, brilliant. Rocking and rolling down to the beach and strolling. Okay, faces. Let's talk faces. A lot of people make painting faces real difficult. When it ain't difficult. To paint a good face, the first thing you need to do is break it down into its individual parts. And I don't mean its nose and its eyes and its mouth. I mean the lines you see. So, for example, this line down the side of his mouth there is only that, a line. Okay, so let's just paint a line in. There's a line. Brilliant. Just so happens he's got two of them, one either side of his mouth. Two lines. Well, big deal. If you struggle with painting lines, go onto the palette and do it on the palette and practice doing big lines with more pressure. Big lines with more pressure. Small lines with less pressure. And pressure's the only difference. If you struggle to do a straight line, put a noise with it. There you go. Don't do this at the end. Even though you saw me do a big movement, I lifted up. Now what people do is they have this artistic flurry, which I don't know. It's a sack of shit. People go and they have this stupid tick at the end, and it's not. Whatever you see me do fast is because I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So it's better to go contact, set the width, go, let go. Yeah. None of this. Oh yeah, I'm gonna paint. It serves no use other than to potentially create mistakes. This flick movement at the end. Yeah, don't move away fast. Move away clearly. Now I move away fast, but I'm moving away fast and clearly. Why? Because I'm really experienced. Like really experienced when I think about it. I still feel like I'm 18 years old, you know, but that was a long time ago. Yeah. How long ago was that? 24 years ago. Holy moly. You know what I mean? And started painting when I was like 12. So yeah, don't mistake some of the things I do fast for just random weird flourishes that are slightly maybe ego based. So anyway, look, I'm just painting in more of these lines. He's got two eyebrows, that's two lines. He's got a furrow in his brow that I can see is just two lines. Yeah, he's got his nose, which is a line down and two little dots either side. His nostrils. Yeah, so just put in these basic. Oops, he's just messed up. How did he mess up? So basically, some of this water caught my brush, so I ended up running some paint into the gap. But again, I'm not freaking out. I just clean my brush, dry off a lot of the moisture. I just soak that that paint out of there. There we go. So his cheekbone, bippity boppity, his bottom eyelid. Let's just check this camera's doing right. Yeah, good. His bottom eyelid, bippity boppity boo. Tricky one, that bottom eyelid, but I ain't worried about mistakes, not ever. Yeah, practice that as a skill, not worrying about mistakes. Practice enjoying mistakes as a skill, and then practice correcting them as a skill. There you go, there's some homework for you all. Yeah, stop trying to get everything perfect and right. Hold your back. Stop competing with people. It makes you compare yourself to others. Hold your back. Okay, what else have we got? We've got his jawline. Boom. We've got his ear, which is two lines. Let's get a bit more paint. Two lines. Bippity bop. I got a bit of paint on his horn. Do I care? No. Let's get his cheekbone in. Scribble that in. Right. Down part of his jaw. The along part of his jaw. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Alright, so let's do some little hair thin lines. That's hatching, they call it in comic book art. Some lines like that start really thin and get slightly thicker. Yeah, and I'm going to do them down his cheek. Why? I just gut feeling told me to do it as I saw it. So that's what I'm going to do. And also it's a little bit more achievable for you guys. It's just a line. No, it's the only thing I've done so far in doing this is paint lines. It also creates a sense of tightness in his face. Yeah, lines downwards. Okay. So it's kind of all in. What I'm going to do is, with his brow here, I'm looking, this one kind of looks like it could now be a V shape. So I'm actually going to add that one in and make it a V shape. So now I'm using features on his face that are kind of hinting at lines to me. Well, okay then. If it's hinting a line to me and I think it'll look cool, I'm going to add it in. There we go. So there's a line right up the middle of his forehead here that is hinting a line. But I don't like that. So I'm actually going to fill that one in completely. There we go. Just a block right down the middle. It's kind of like giving him some war paint. I like that. Right, okay. So I'm going to do that to all the rest of the lines now. We've got his little upper lip, just a little block of it there. Just going to block that in. Other side, kind of already done from earlier on. Brilliant. We've got his weird cheekbone thing here, which I've not quite done. Why? Because I'm right-handed, and this needs a left-handed approach. So, believe it or not, you can tell left-handed painters from right-handed painters pretty easy from how well they paint faces, and also from how they highlight faces. Left-handed paint will generally highlight top left, right-handed painter top right. Not a hard and fast rule, there's nothing stopping me from doing that. But just don't have to think about it, do I? Look at the consistency change I've got now. So I've got a lot thinner now in my consistency, and I'm going to use these like kind of glaze strokes just to soften his cheeks a little bit. Not like your mama's blusher though. There we go, like that. He's looking pretty snazzy already. He's got his angry eyes on. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So all I'm going to do now is, all those stages you just saw, all I'm doing is I'm just going over them all again. Go over them in the same order or different orders. You can make them thinner or thicker. Well, you can't really make them thinner. You can thicken them up if they need it. Yeah, and you saw the method for me just softening the underneath the cheekbones then. So if there's a line you fancy softening, then just soften it like that. Although if you want to give it a second pass, make sure it's dry fully. This is what I was about to do. So you can see I'm working with two consistencies at the same time here. Something more opaque, something less opaque. Oh yeah, but what about the ideal consistency? The ideal consistency is a myth used by people who don't know any better. There's no such thing as an ideal consistency. There are tools for a job and a consistency that'll help for that. And then there are other jobs to do where that same consistency will just bum you, and you don't want that. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying that guy. Looking cool. Alright, so I'm going to leave it a minute now for his actual face. I'm going to get his mouth in, because I want to make some kind of maybe artistic choices based on the colour of him. And to make artistic choices, I need the general gist of all colours to be on. Oh, that'll do actually. So I'm just making this slightly pinky, tonguey colour. Looks a bit too feminine, so I'm gonna add a bit of dryad bark in there, just to beast it out a little bit. There you go. That's more steak coloured. Yeah, that can go in. I don't want his tongue to stick out and go, hey, look at me, I'm a tongue, you know. Hey, I'm pink and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, and that'll do, really. Let's get his teeth in. Now his teeth in this colour might be a bit too light, so I'll just darken them down with a wash in a little bit, but I still want the teeth in order to make that decision. I'm going to paint his teeth individually, unless I screw up, in which case I'll just blast them all the same colour and then give them a wash. Yeah, cool. Might not even do much more than that. It looks alright, that. Well, you see how I adjust the model to fit me brush? Again, that's a thing not a lot of people do. Try and contort the angle of the brush to fit the way they're holding the model in the hand. Notice I very rarely have my hands on the model as well. It's that tooth in the middle there, I can't quite see. Bippity boppity boo. There we go. Bit tricky that. Let's get a bit more paint. Be very careful with my setup here because I'm going in sideways. Might be a bit too much on my brush. Yep, that was right. Bop, bop, bippity, boppity bop. Alright, something going on with that bottom tooth there. I'll come back to it in a minute. Quite like that. Very happy. The Crag Blue. Blip. Just a bit of that. Going in his eyes. Some ultramarine grey. Just a bit of that. His eye colour might change. It might not. Ooh. Oh, but you need a plan. No, you don't. Get that all in there. Right, okay, the general gist of his face is, I like it. So let's just, that's for the colour scheme. I like, yeah, I like what I've done. While that face is not anywhere near finished, I'm happy just to let it dry for a second and answer some of the questions that have come through on the live stream. Okay, squidging up and moving up, Rich Feely says, no, you've not had the pleasure of my course. Should do. It's good fun. And I have fun every time I do it. That's how I know it's good fun. Fedyakin says, almost got a set of the Mark 3s, but ended up with some Series 7s. Series 7s are a great choice. What have we got here? Council 13 says, if I compared myself to other painters, I'd never start anything. The only person I compare my work to is me. Yeah, exactly right. Big Season Miniature says, couldn't believe how little my Patreon costs. Oh, right, okay. Well, thank you. You're telling me I'm cheap? Is that what you're saying? I think everyone should jump on. Oh, that's really kind of you, mate. Yeah, cheers. That bearded bastard has joined, apparently, in Explosivo 111. Welcome, you guys. Bearded fella, you know, you deserve a better name than that. Stand up, be proud of who you are. Right, cracking on. Right, brilliant. I think I got a bit of there's wet paint on his teeth, but I'll catch them in a little bit. Okay, so let's get on some of his weird scar colours as well, just so it will help me make a more informed decision, like I did with his face. I've got all the rough colours on of his face. On our treat, highlighting his face a lot more. So tip of the brush 90 degrees to the surface you're painting, and that way you can be a little bit more accurate if you're 90 degrees when you're doing things like this in freehand. I could do these bleeding, but I don't think I'm gonna. Brilliant. That goes all the way around. Yeah, I like that. That's definitely the right colour. Tell you what, I might even just gloss that as it is. I don't think I need to shade highlight it or whatever else. Make sure you've got a nice good flat point on your brush. You see, I've got a wide setting and a thin setting. I always check my brush through a 90-degree little barrel roll, and I see if there's a thinner setting. Like in this instance, it's there, and I'll always choose that one to go down the gaps with. You see how I was at this 45-degree angle then, and I went to go around that and I struggled. Yeah, that's why I didn't go ahead, because I didn't do the 90 degrees. Real great tip for all y'all, that is, by the way. There's one there, one there. Brilliant. So I've chosen red because it matches his loincloth, and I want the red bits to be a, like I say, a frame for his face. There we go. So in other words, these red bits devalue the red loincloth. The red loincloth. The red loincloth. Squeeze that straight down there, that straight down there, that straight down there. These across. Brilliant. Alright, awesome. Bit of a tight squeeze that under there. Brilliant. Right, do I do these as well? Because these don't look like ritualistic markings. These look like he's been whipped or scarred in battle. So I don't feel the need to do those as red. Should I? Should I do these scars on his shoulder that are actual like battle scars? Scars of violence as opposed to ritual scars. Should I do them in the same red? The theory of framing his face kind of insinuates that I should. So I will. Why? Because I want to know how it looks. What if it looks wrong? Then I'll paint it out. Big deal. There we go. Let's do under them. So I'm going to do under these little lines, like scars on them, so it looks like they're open wounds that are bleeding out the bottom of them, like somebody's been stabbing up at him. And then that kind of keeps them in the same theme as the cuts on the other side. Yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, I like that. So now I find, it was kind of the case anyway, but now I'm looking at this model, I am looking at his face more. So I'm quite happy that I've got the focal point appropriately coloured. Yeah, nice. Let's dry bark his beard. Oh, should I do his beard orange, the same as his mane? Should really, shouldn't I? Forgotten about that. Let's get that in a little bit clearer. And those same like hatching lines we did for his cheek. Let's do them here just to represent some of the lines. Because it's not clear where beard does and doesn't end on this guy. There we go. Nice. Right, okay. Let's do some bit of highlighting. Let's let's get some Rakath. Some witch flesh. Oh, witch flesh proper needs a shake. There we go. That's better. Yay, cool. Right, and for the highlighting stages, well, let's just repeat everything we did again. Yeah, we might want to execute any of these lines a little bit smaller. Yeah, we might not. We might want to do them bigger and smooth them in. Show you an example of that in a bit if it comes up. But if it doesn't come up, tough. So you see, that first stage, now I kind of don't need to think about, oh, where do I put my highlights? Well, I've already made all that decision once. So I don't have to make that decision again. I just have to go over it. There we go. Let's get his bottom lip in. I don't think I'm going to do his bottom lip a different colour. By the way, I'm going to leave it the same colour as his boat race. Down and along. There we go. Cool. Do you know what? I actually quite like his face. I mean, it's not the greatest face in the world, but you know, I've not set out for it to be. But given the amount of work I've done on it, and as you can see, that's effective. That is effective. Again, more evidence that painting is more straightforward than a lot of people make it out. Whether these people are more experienced painters or more effective painters, while they're more beginner painters. I think some people really do make things more difficult than they have to be. Didn't get his left nostril in, did I? Or maybe I did, I just did it poorly. Then blotted it from my memory. Alright, cool. Should I go one lighter? Yeah, go on. Just because it's a face and all that business. Might actually end up too light. Cool. Oh no, that's good. It's not going to end up too light. Yeah, cool. Like that. Keep getting that weird bit of paint drying on the end of my brush, you know, little tiny ball. You know, like the you get with the G-dub paints. Right, I'm going to put his eyes in a bit stronger in colour now. Yeah, cool. Definitely cool. Let's go again. Then we'll see what's in the comments. See what people are saying. Brilliant. Alright, quite like that. I like it a lot. Wonder if with the more brutal nature of this guy in comparison to the Ogroid Thaumaturge, who has a more celestial nature, maybe the glowing eyes would be more suited to a Thaumaturge as opposed to a Myrmidon. Who knows, eh? Who knows? Yeah, quite like that. Quite like that a lot. That's why I originally bought this model. So he's pretty cool, isn't he? It's pretty cool. Oops. Let's check my brush shape. There's that stupid little ball again. Can you see it? At the end. Never used to get that on the old paints. Makes you wonder who thought then. Brilliant. Cool. Right, I get his teeth in a little bit stronger with some Screaming Skull. I think I'll shove a bit of paint on his beard. Do his horns. Now this looks a bit runny for doing. I'm probably going to make that same mistake again. So let's thicken that up a little bit. Yeah, cool. Nearly went too thick then on that one. Make sure the teeth all match. Lovely jubbly. Let's get some orange and some dry bark. Said I was going to ask some questions. Answer some questions from you guys. Scars tend to pale with age, so maybe a lighter pink in the same hue as the red. No, I'm sticking with what I've got. I'm happy with it. How do you know how old the scars are? I could always go into details like that, but right now for this, I just don't care. You know, it's going with the flow. I'm having fun with it, and blah blah blah. That's the point of the project, isn't it? Yeah, cool. Cool. I've got enough scars to know what colour they go as well. Yeah. Right, sweet. What's next? Horns, ring of his nose. Let's do the ring of his nose. And then I'll answer some questions, because then his face is pretty much done. You know, you see that I didn't do too much work to it. Silver around that ring of his nose. Lovely. I'll do. Have it on black. All through in grey. Right, nice. Some bit of shading around his horns. Careful around his face. Brilliant. And then let's take some of that, bang it on there, mix up a suitable highlight colour, which could be that. Let's just go straight up there and straight up there. I've just noticed I may have been knocking the camera quite a bit. Apologies. There we go. And there we go. Yeah, cool. Alright, guys. So, there he is. So on a basic level, this guy is done. What I'm going to do is I'll finish off the bits in the methods you've already seen. Oh, the skulls. Let's answer some questions. In fact, we'll call this video here. We'll do a second video for the skulls and any little tweaks I make. Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. I'll be back in a minute.